Presentation of the following assignments for the students. Prepare a program for an informational meeting with local communities about relevance and potential benefits for hosting a geological repository for spent nuclear fuel. This presentation has been prepared and presented on June 17th, 2015. Group 7, Torsten Engström, Emil Ludgren, Aristides Loomis, and Chris Kuprianczyk.
So, quick question for you guys. Do you want to make an investment towards the future? One that will increase the economic stimulus in your community, as well as increase the employment rate? Yes. Of course you do. Okay, so let me introduce myself and tell you how. My name is Aristides, or Aries Loomis.
My name is Emil Lundgren.
Chris Kuprianczyk.
And I'm Torsten Engström.
And today we're going to talk to you about how a geological repository can improve your community. So now, first things first, what is a geological repository? It's a storage facility for spent nuclear fuel. It's one that goes deep within the earth from 200 to 500 meters, depending on your geology. And the research that has been done is very comprehensive and can provide safe storage for up to 1 million years. And depending on your country, as I'm from the US, and minimum standards in the US require that we have safety standards for up to 10,000 years. And the research that we have done goes well beyond what current standards are requiring of us. So now wait a minute. I want to be completely transparent with you. And I know that I didn't tell you when I first proposed to you this investment that we would be storing spent nuclear fuel. And I know that that can be a little bit scary for some people. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story, all right? This is Jenny Rees, and she works for the SKB, which is the Swedish Nuclear Waste Management Company. So Jenny, sweet girl, by the way, is that she's a local to Oskarshamn, Sweden. Now in Oskarshamn, they have a nuclear power plant, as well as a temporary interim storage facility, and they also have Esper Hard Rock Laboratory, which is a research facility for geological repositories. So now Jenny came to us and she told us a story one day about how in her early days working for the SKB, she was walking to work and there were a bunch of protesters outside. A reporter came up to her without notice and grabbed her by her clothes. And he said to her, he says, "How come you're not wearing radiation protection under your clothing?" And at that moment, she took a step back and she was appalled by what she had heard, because she was told about the stigma behind industries related to nuclear power and nuclear research. Now, we want to emphasize to you that yes, nuclear power can be unsafe, but we have spent millions and millions of dollars working on making it safer for everyone. So now I'm going to hand off my microphone to my colleague, and he's going to go into more of the benefits behind spent nuclear fuel storage.
Thank you. Thank you. So, it's important to emphasize that this is going to be a long project. This is not going to take a year. This is going to take decades. And during that time, this is going to generate a lot of money for the municipality and a lot of work opportunities. And whenever possible, we will try to employ the local people to give something back for letting us be here. And you can wonder, how is this going to affect me living here? So, in the early phases, there's probably going to be a lot of measurements, because we have to check the land and see what's going on underneath the surface. That means that we have to drill some holes. And during the drilling, there will actually be need for some roads. So if there are, because we operate heavy machinery with the drills. So, to drill these holes, we have to build some roads. And we will never build roads on anyone's land if they don't agree to it. And when we build the roads, we will agree beforehand on a compensation for any damage done to the land. We will also have a constant dialogue with the people living here and informing them what's going on, what are we doing now, and what are our results. So, how will this affect us as a municipality? First of all, this is not going to cost the municipality anything. This is funded from the, as we previously mentioned, the small part of the increased for the consumer, increased price for the consumer. And this will also help to put the community on the map, because people will hear about this place in the news, and it will help bring the community to a larger place. And also, as I previously mentioned, this will increase the jobs. And for a small municipality, the increase in jobs could actually have a big effect on the unemployment, because this will increase the the jobs will increase by 100. And since this is a small community, this will be a big fraction of the unemployment. And this means that people living here might actually be excited to stay in this community, not move to the big city and find other opportunities for work. So this will help to conserve the municipality's heritage.
So as a review, some ways that this repository might affect your host community is providing more employment, economic stimulus, education, and infrastructure. And I want to tell you about a couple places that have already done this and what the repository has done for them. And I'll start with case study 1, which is in Carlsbad, New Mexico, which is the host of WIP, Waste Isolation Pilot Plant. Carlsbad and WIP. So for the economy, every year, $215 million are put into the budget, and most of it stays within the community as wages. And these wages go to the newly employed people of Carlsbad. There have been 1,300 permanent jobs created by the WIP facility, and this gives Carlsbad a 3.8% unemployment rate as compared to the 8.5% nationwide unemployment rate. In terms of infrastructure, $100 million have been invested in roads to get the equipment to the site, so there's benefits straight to the community that are needed anyway. And in addition, a total of $300 million have been invested in roads in the state of New Mexico. And in terms of development, now that the town has been become more popular, there's been establishments of youth sports complexes for all the new young people living there, in addition to the $3 billion fuel fabrication plant that is now in Carlsbad, which employs over 300 people. And not only has this been done in the United States, but this has also been done in Sweden, and Emil will talk about that.
Yes, our second case study is the municipality of Östhammar, situated about 100 kilometers from the capital of Sweden. It is really a beautiful place, situated along the Baltic coast with a lush environment and a very diverse fauna. Östhammar is quite similar to Carlsbad in the sense of the number of residents. In Östhammar there lives about 20,000 people, and it is estimated that the geological repository that is going to be built there is going to create between 300 and 700 jobs. Most of these jobs are going to be created within, or are going to be filled by local residents. And now I'm talking about construction firms and truck drivers, for instance. However, this repository is also going to attract a lot of highly skilled people that are going to have to come from the outside. Thus, this repository will most likely increase the diversity of the community, and we believe that this is a good thing. The budget of this project is estimated to be around 30 billion Swedish crowns. That is about $7 billion US dollars. No, excuse me, it's about $4 billion. And out of this budget, about $1 billion or 7 billion Swedish crowns or $500 million is going to siphon down to the local community. In addition to this money, 500 million Swedish crowns is going to be invested in culture and education and other projects in the community. I think this concludes what we have to present to you, and I hope that we have been able to plant a seed of interest in your minds. And now we will be happy to answer any of your concerns.
I have a question.
Go.
Hello, my name is President Barack Obama. So, in the past, I have taken an anti-nuclear stance on these matters. And although my term as president is coming to an end, I would like to ask, how could you encourage future politicians to take a different stance on this? How could you justify an investment of this type to voters?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very happy that you asked that question. First of all, I would like to stress the fact that this question is about the storage. And it's about solving a problem that we are responsible for together. It is you and me and everyone else who are taking hot showers and consuming electricity every day. Secondly, I want to emphasize that this is not about investing in nuclear power or nuclear weapons for that matter. This is about solving our existing problem. Actually, the United States and the rest of the world is facing a crisis when it comes to managing the spent fuel. We are, as we speak, running out of interim storage space today. And there is also the question whether these interim storages are safe in a long-term perspective. We believe that the geological repository is the solution. It is a state-of-the-art as of today. As I've been into, this is an issue that needs to be taken care of, and it would be irresponsible to ignore it, irrespectively of the political party you belong to. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Right here. Now, my name is Professor John Smith, and I come from New York University. I teach finance and accounting. And my question, previous history of geological repositories in America, such as the Yucca Mountain Project, have been unsuccessful. And how can you claim that this will provide a lot of economic stimulus when previously it hasn't worked before?
I believe I can begin to answer that. I'd just like to say that Yucca Mountain was not so much an economic failure as it was a political one. Actually, considering the state of Nevada, the Yucca Mountain Project actually contributed around $200 million to the Nevada economy in both 2000 and 2001. And the economic failure associated with Yucca Mountain was because it was not finished. Otherwise, it would have been a worthwhile investment in geological repositories. And I believe Emil can finish this off.
Yes, actually, I have 2 points I would like to make. I would like to stress the voluntary nature of these projects. We are seeking your support as partners in this question. And I would also like to point out that the reason for Yucca Mountain not being a success was most likely a lack of communication between the public and the government. And this is what we would like to address here. Now, I see a funny fellow here who is waving his hand, and he's eager to ask a question.
Hello. I'm from Greenpeace. And I have a question about the safety of this repository. So, how can you claim that this is safe when nuclear anything is bad for our communities?
I'd like to answer that. So, we'd like to stress that safety is the most important thing when it comes to siting a geological repository. And we've been doing a lot of research with Sweden and their KBS3 method. And we'd like to show you this picture you've probably never seen before. And there are multiple barriers that prevent anything harmful from reaching the community or anything near the repository. So we'd like to stress that there will be no additional risk added to your community because your geological repository is there. Thank you. And what was your name again?
That's not worthy.
Okay. All right, so that concludes our questions from this young man. Are there any others that would like to ask any? Yes.
Once playing again. Excuse me, I'm also from the green, please, actually, and I want to know if the radioactive leakage will not damage my marijuana plants.
I'm with you, man.
So, would you convince me that my marijuana will be not even of the worst quality because of that stuff, you know, this old potassium, chlorine, or whatever you call it?
Yes, I can convince you. I can ensure that these multiple barriers will prevent any radiation or any harmful effects coming to your marijuana plants. Yes.
I think the KBS3 analysis maybe 20 years ago method to analyze the safety issue, right? I remember this KBS3 method is from 20 years ago, something like that. I remember somebody from KTH, he has an independent survey on this method, and he has some publication saying that the canister you have, the copper canister you have, will not hold for 1 million years, and his result is this canister will only hold for 1,000 years. And how do you comment this?
Okay.
I hope this survey, you can find this on Wikipedia and the KTH website.
Thank you. So Sweden, as we mentioned, is developing a repository in Östhammar, and they are employing the KBS3 method. And from all the new research since 20 years ago, in addition to old copper cannons and coins that we found, we now know better that there will be much less corrosion than previously anticipated by those older studies, and that the 1 million year safety margin is accurate. Any other questions? Or no?
My name is Arnaud, and I'm from the Republic of Bolton. So, why, if the nuclear industry make a benefit using fuel like nuclear fuel, will the taxpayer have to pay for the waste?
I think I can answer that now. I think that you have to realize in the morning when you are cooking your coffee and taking a shower that you are actually consuming the electricity that generates the nuclear waste. It is therefore our collective responsibility to take care of this problem, and it is not the government, it is not the utility, it is our responsibility, and if you choose to duck your head in the sand like an ostrich, then I don't think that that is a very productive way of solving the problem.
Okay, any other questions from the yes, Carl, please.
The government says you have to protect us for 10,000 years. Why are you saying why do you have to protect us for 1 million years? What are they not telling us?
Well, the reason why the American government has decided 10,000 years was because of the amount of research that they did on actually taking care of the storage. Now we have, I mean, in America they have made it so it is retrievable. So the reason why they think that, or I would assume so, is because there's also research being done on reprocessing spent fuel. And in the event that we need to go back and retrieve this fuel after 10,000 years, we have the ability to do so. And the reason why the Swedish government has spent more money on investing towards storage for up to 1 million years, because that was their minimum standard, or 1 million years or 1 glaciation cycle was their minimum standard for taking care of the spent fuel. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
I am living nearby this location. Can you tell me, can I get for free the warm water in my house from the repository?
You want to take that? Should I take it?
Yes. There is no warm water coming from the repository. The warm water you may be thinking of may come from a nuclear power plant, but there should be no water going anywhere out of the repository for use because of our barriers.
And if you are also talking about the hot water that's coming out of interim storage facilities such as CLAB, that water is not currently being used to power any homes right now. I don't know if any research is being done towards that field, but right now the hot water is currently flowing outwards into the Baltic Sea and not being used to heat any homes at this moment, to our knowledge.
No. Thank you for performance. This was not a meeting, ordinary meeting, but I really enjoyed it. You have no explanation of waste, nuclear waste, as I could see. What is the problem with the waste? Why are we putting it down into this bedrock, and why do we have these barriers? Probably you can. Not until the questions from the audience you started to explain all these things. It is connected with no costs at all. You said no costs, only benefits, only income. A lot of economical numbers. I don't think that is very. What do we call it? The audience will be very impressed by all this economic benefits for the community. I'm quite not sure of that. And then you mentioned one word, nuclear weapon. I don't think you should mention nuclear weapon together with the waste at all.
Can I have a response to that?
Yes.
Well, as Emil was saying earlier, when a question was asked by me, he made a clear separation between nuclear waste and nuclear weapons and nuclear power. Or I don't know if we communicated that well enough, but the point of what we're doing is separate from a pro-nuclear stance for politicians. So we are only attempting to take care of nuclear waste, and we're not trying to promote nuclear weapons or nuclear power.
And that is very important to announce that to the audience. So, thank you again.
I enjoyed that tremendously. You might want to slow down right at the beginning because that was kind of a rush of technical information. You know, again, to remind you that you're talking to a non-technical audience and they're skeptical as heck, that you kind of need to win them over a little bit. One of you said nuclear energy can be dangerous. Maybe not mention that in the first meeting. I thought using the information from the waste isolation pilot project was brilliant. That was great. You obviously did the research. You looked up the benefits so that you could make direct comparisons with a potential site in addition to what we have here in Sweden. The case study approach I thought was great. And I was really glad to see President Obama show up for a technical meeting, show some interest in science and technology for a change. Thank you, gentlemen.
William, I suspect you don't like that much your current president, huh? Sorry.
Yes, I liked this a lot as well. When you started, I got the impression now you are taking I don't know a similar expression in English, but you're taking water above your head. You make it. You're going to make this too complicated. But but you managed to do it. Perhaps just from a very local landowner point of view, this might not have been the best possible start of a contact that is going to go on for a very long time. You used decades, didn't you, in the presentation? Now, but still, the way you did it, and I think that if more for ordinary audience of Östhammar, I think this would have been a very good way of being introduced. You put the level high, and you were able to show, to answer the question, why would it be like this? And of course, President Obama and the others were very helpful in their ways of putting the questions. But still, you had very good answers to the questions as well. All of you, both from. They were prepared. Pardon. But that's good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, but the way of answering the questions was good. I liked it.
Thank you. Can I add one comment after that? We interpreted this assignment as a meeting with local authorities, and we wanted to sell them the idea, and then plant the seed. And then we think that it is up to the local authorities to convince the people in the area at the first stage, or in collaboration with us. And but we still want to start with the local authorities. So that's why we did it like we did.
Okay.
Sorry, just comment to the comment. That was good. And just for your information, when we did it the same way, putting the questions to the municipality of Oskarshamn, asking how are you going to inform the people, they just looked back at us. They didn't tell anything. They just looked at us and wondering, yes, how are you going to do it? I mean, that's a boomerang. You don't. If you have this project, you should be sure from the beginning that you are the ones who are going to solve it. You don't get the assistance. You can get assistance from people who are able to help you, but you are the ones who are going to have to drive it all the way through. That's for sure, and I think it is probably the case, regardless of what is the political situation wherever you are. But you made it well.
Okay, I am now in majority. Actually, I enjoyed your presentation of many reasons. One of the reasons is that you had a good balance between being serious and enjoying your. So Emil was kind of serious, and Chris serious, but Torsten and Artie a little bit less relaxed. So there's a good role. This is the first group which actually did this multinational, in this case American and Swedish references, which was a very good example. Carlsbad example is extremely good because you put numbers, it's working. It has problems, of course, which you didn't mention, but that's nice also. You might know that it was a leakage in WIP. Some time ago, and only report came very recently on this. But that number, and for the first time when your group was talking about benefits, I didn't have the feeling, because you talk that you try to corrupt me, because people want to have money, but they want to have feeling that they are not really bought or corrupted. So your presentation was very, very balanced in that respect. So there was clear benefits, the numbers were there, but they were given as, for example of cars, but very good also, much broader perspective that only local. It's New Mexico also, so it's a whole state actually. It's a whole community around that, in much bigger. So that's really very, very good point. And then actually I think that it was it was even too much technicality, but it was good. It was giving actually some confidence, not trying to overwhelm people with that, but just giving a confidence. We know what we are talking about. We know we have a control over that, and there is a possibility to warm up the houses from the cooling water, by the way. And Club is doing that, isn't it? That yes, Club actually is doing the local rooms, and that they are warm up with this. So you can do that even with the final disposal if you really want to do that. But that's another story. That is a risk in that. So good job, really. Any other comments too? Okay, so we deserve the break now. Let's do that 15 minutes just to stretch over. Thank you.